morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Here, my name is Silvana Samos. I am a holistic therapist, and I'm just delighted today to share some amazing content and a lot of learning and very deep wisdom with this beautiful lady that we have today. That is Breslin. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's just so lovely to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to you. So I met Dawn some time ago, 3 years ago. She was just giving a talk in a fair, and I was like, oh gosh, this is exactly what I feel. Everything she was saying, it was exactly what it resonated a lot to me. And then since that moment, I started following her, and so I was back to her to have a chat for this group. So for the ones that don't know Dawn, I'd like to introduce her to you. She is an author of 3 books, a TV and radio presenter. She's an inspirational speaker and a media consultant. But the most important thing is that her most wonderful work has been inspiring thousands of individuals to heal, re-energize, and transform their lives. And I really admire her. She's a wonderful person. So, as you know, Dawn, in this group, we are focused on raising the consciousness. So for some people, it's difficult to understand what raising the consciousness means. So I'd like you, if you can tell me, what does this mean to you? What it means, at least the consciousness. What is the consciousness for you?
Consciousness. Yeah. So this is my secret work. It's because in a lot of my work, this might not be the language that I use, but it's my passion and it's what I study, and it's why I believe I'm here on this planet, is to work with people to help them raise their consciousness. So for me, consciousness is, to me, it's like the imprint of your soul. It's the part of you, it's the most loving, authentic, true, fearless, all-knowing aspect of who we are, beyond our conditioning. It's, when we have inspiration, we have goosebumps, we resonate with someone when they're speaking, there's a part of us that may be hidden in our everyday life that is trying to communicate with us, to tell us, that something is possible for us, or this is who we truly are, or this is what we really believe, or this is how we would love to live our lives. But, consciousness can sometimes be hidden from us by our conditioning, our mindset, our cultural beliefs, societal beliefs, all these belief structures, human structures, the human vessel and the mind, the conditioning of the mind separates us from this fearless, authentic beauty, all-knowing wisdom that we are, and this connectedness that we are to all other beings. So that's kind of how I understand it. And my work is just about trying to help people separate from the conditioning and create space from the conditioning to allow consciousness to emerge, to allow an awakening, an awareness to occur. So that's kind of, I don't know if you agree. If this
Yes, I totally agree. The thing is that sometimes people, at least for me, what has happened is, when did this change? And sometimes I don't know, it's difficult for me. I noticed that there's a belief that has disappeared, or I see something in a totally different way, or I see a person in a different way, but I'm not sure when the shift occurred. So how do you know? Have you ever experienced these shifts? These shifts, yes, I'm sure that you have, but how do you know when that shift is happening?
Yeah.
How can you see the signs? How can people can notice or see the shift? The shift is happening. You know what I mean?
I think sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't see it. So I feel right now, because I think that there's an energetic shift happening on the planet right now. I think that we are being shifted. We are being moved. And the experience you're talking about, I feel from day to day, and I put my hand here because it's kind of like wool or gray or curtains pulled away.
Layers.
Yeah. And you're seeing something maybe for the first time. Even my description of consciousness, 2 years ago would have been very, very different. But now it's becoming so clear to me. And so I think that we are in a very specific moment where this, even on a physical level, we might be seeing colors we've never seen before. We might see someone in a way we've never seen, that perceive them in a way we've never, maybe our hearts haven't been able to soften enough to see someone the way we might be seeing them. So for me at this moment in time, it's really fast. It's a constant happening. It's really, it is day by day. I'm becoming aware, and I'm very much the conscious observer of myself all the time. So
me too.
my consciousness is observing my thoughts, my behaviors, my habits, my interactions. So I have a part of me that stands above everything that I'm doing, that is scanning everything. And it's not a very deliberate separation, but it's constantly there. It's an awareness that is there all the time. Why am I saying that? Why did I do that? That's interesting how I'm interacting. So the awareness at the minute of the ever-changing landscape of things that I'm looking at in nature, interactions I'm having with people, my understanding, like you can read something. Like if I came into personal development 25 years ago, and there's something that I maybe read 25 years ago, and if I was to read it now, I'd be reading so completely different because the layers have been removed, You
said, this is old.
So
this is old.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I think it's fast just now. For me, my big shifts in consciousness have happened very specifically at really traumatic times in my life.
Oh, wow.
So the first one was when my father died when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
And I suddenly thought, where are you? Where have you gone? And I went for a psychic reading.
Okay.
I had no expectations of this reading whatsoever. I worked in this office with these crazy girls who kept trying new things on me. They'd have these ideas and they'd think, oh, we're going to get her to try this. And one of the things was, we're going to take her to see a psychic. So they took me to see a psychic, and it was 6 months after my father had died. And the psychic told me my father's name, his nickname. She said that he hadn't settled in the spirit world because he died. He was 39 years old. So he died very dramatically and quickly. And so she said all these things, and I was left with these questions about, who are we? Where do we go when we die? What is life all about? Where, she talked about the veil, and I thought, what is the veil between life and death? And so all these questions started me on a journey of exploration into spirit, spirituality, consciousness, awareness. And then my next one was at 26 when I experienced postnatal depression. Okay. So I think in depression, you disconnect from consciousness. That awareness is, you're so disconnected. So when I became connected again, through working with my mind to get back to myself, for the second time, this awareness came in through this personal development training that I did, in understanding myself. My next level of awareness came. And then I had a third major level. And my third one was around 8-9 years ago now, and it feels like yesterday. And I think this was the biggest spiritual awakening. And it's when I burned out. I lost my job. Well, I gave up my company. I lost my position. I was quite a well-known coach in my field, working in television. You know, they would write about me in newspapers, and I worked all over the world. And I gave up this company because I couldn't bear the pain anymore of holding on to something that wasn't working. And I was catapulted into this place of burnout where I had no energy. I was exhausted. I had no direction. Before I'd had purpose and direction, suddenly everything was gone. And all I was left with was the beauty of nature and presence with nature. And I lost everything that I identified with, and I was catapulted into the beauty and the pulse of life. And it was way beyond anything and everything that I'd ever experienced before. And the depth of the experience, the quality of the observations, the beauty of where I was now living was just indescribable, and it's never left me. So this was my biggest, deepest awakening. It was into the experience of just life itself and presence of me, and I didn't need anything. I had nothing for 3-4 years. 3 years I didn't work, and but I was creative. I was in connection with my soul consciousness, my awareness. Wow. And that was it. And it was wonderful. It was more than I could ever imagine. It was irreplaceable. And now I struggle to build up another business now because I don't want to lose it. So I have to stay connected with this beauty. But things that before I had quite a grand lifestyle, things before that were really important, suddenly none of it was important anymore. I'd found something so potent and beautiful.
Something came to my mind when you said that, because I went through something very similar, and I found the relief in nature. I had a miscarriage before my son was born, and the sadness was so big that I couldn't stay at home. I couldn't be surrounded by walls and furniture. So I used to go to the park and spend 3 hours after work in the park. And I used to say to my husband, I feel the trees are calling me. I feel safe. I feel the relief. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Me too. Exactly.
So I used to, so when you said that, I remember that. And then I said to my husband, I need to go, let's go on holiday somewhere where I can walk in the woods for hours. Mm-hmm. And that's everything I want. And I found all that love that I needed at that moment, because that's everything I needed. It was just love, because I just need to feel relief and safe. And I found it in the woods. And my husband said, how can you be walking in the park 3 hours? I said, I just want to stay there. And then I connected with a tree. Mm-hmm. And this tree is still there, has like a hole. So I sit inside the tree. It was like the tree was hugging me. Mm-hmm. And I asked to the tree, can you please just release this pain that I have? And I promise you that when my next baby comes, I will bring him here. And this is what I did. The tree is still in the park, of course, in Seaton Park. It's very close from home. But yeah, I absolutely understand. So when there's no other way, just go to nature.
Yes, and I don't think humanity. I'm writing a chapter in my new book at this moment, and it is about exactly what you're talking about. It's about how I went into the woods for 3-4 hours at a time. I didn't want to leave.
Yes, you want to stay there.
And I would lie on the bed of the forest floor, and I just would stay there. And there was a healing and a holding, and like you say, it was, and it's bizarre, isn't it? Because we think, you know, to be outside in the woods, you're vulnerable.
Yes,
yeah,
no.
And you would be safe in your house, but I felt more safe.
Yes.
And then I started to understand nature as something that was just the trees, the whole living organism of Mother Earth, as being something that was like a mother. That was, I really understood that on a real level, how, you know, the rhythm of the water, the sounds of the water would soothe me, the rustling in the trees would soothe me. Something would change my attention in a split second. You know, I would see a bird or I would see a squirrel, and my intense thoughts would be moved. And it was like it was like an orchestra, and you were in it, and it was moving, and it was moving you. And it had an organic, energetic capacity that was also holding you. And I was the other day I was in the woods, and I walked under these green leaves. They were just bursting with this juicy lime green color, and the sun was penetrating the leaves. And I walked towards them, and I thought, I need to stand underneath these leaves. But as I got closer to the leaves, I then thought, no, I need to stand underneath the color green. And then once I actually got underneath the sunlight, the color green that were leaves, I realized that I was basking in energy, and it was nothing to do with the shape of trees, leaves, colors, or sunlight. I was pulled into an energetic space that was exactly what my human structure being needed in that moment. So take away all the words, and it was energetic, and it's energetically alive. And because we live in this dualistic world where everything is defined by labels and black and white and leaves or not leaves, to go into the non-dual aspect of that moment was just to walk into nourishment and healing and beauty and holding. You know, we've got so much to learn, haven't we? We've got so much about this. To really surrender and be at one in nature, we will heal our bodies, we will heal our nervous systems, we will heal our minds. Yeah,
and it's so beautiful when you understand the real meaning of this mother energy, just giving, because that's what planet Earth does to us. Just give all the time, because we only receive from her. And the only thing that we need to do is just, first of all, is look after her. And secondly, try to take that light or the light that can cross ourselves and send it to Earth, because that's what we can do. We are channels of divine light, and all that this beautiful planet Earth needs from us is just the light that we can channel from divinity. And I am teaching to my son to be very careful on planet Earth, because we are learning about leaves, and they say, no, just pick everything that is on the floor and ask for permission. Don't cut flowers, don't cut leaves. Just leave it. They are in their balance. Don't change the balance of the place, but pick up, and even the things that you're picking up from the floor, they are there for a reason. So you need to ask permission. So he says, do you allow me to do this? So this is so important that we transmit this to our children, right? Not to kill an insect, or no, just let it go. Protect your planet Earth, because this is what she does to us. She protects us all the time. And in fact, she doesn't need us, because she can transform herself without us, right?
Absolutely. I'm so conscious that, we post these things on Facebook about, the earth is our mother, and things like that, but I don't think we really understand it.
No.
I think I've had an embodied experience of it, which has developed my understanding. And I know that in indigenous tribes and cultures, this is something that, they live in, they live in a symbiotic relationship with nature. But I think in the West, we're so, my goodness, we're so detached from that. We don't know what that means. So there's a real need. I always get excited about the idea of education. It's like, we need to educate. We need to, write books. We need to teach. We need to share this information so that people understand it. And when I teach people, I teach them in nature so that they, by the time they're finished their training with me, they come out and they've got it in their bodies. They get it in their bodies. Yeah. And it's not complex. It's you just need someone to guide you to experience.
So that you take me to the next question that I wanted to ask you. That is, how can you help people to raise their consciousness or become much more spiritual, or at least try to achieve their spiritual goals that they have? Or what, I don't know, some people say, I want to be more spiritual, but sometimes they don't know what being spiritual means, or they don't know the next level. So when you are in the next level, you say, oh gosh, I didn't know this was possible. And then you raise to another level, So I'd like you to share with us how is your work and how you can help people.
Yeah, so I think, sometimes these words like consciousness and spiritual, they're so confusing. They're so vast. Some people think spiritual. Yes, oh, okay. So, does that mean you meditate? Or, we've all got different interpretations of it. So really quite simply, you said something really beautiful. You were talking about becoming the divine, the channel for the divine, allowing the divine to work through you. And I also believe that that's what I do in the work that I do. And I also believe I do it with my clients. But when my clients, who are coaches, do it with their clients, it's not how they would describe it. How they would describe it is, if you have a calling or a sense or an intuition that you really want to do something that's meaningful, we try to create space or create the mindset, ultimately, the mindset and the behaviors to allow that awareness of what is meaningful for you, what lights you up. We might call it, and in your group, you might call it your calling, something that wants to work its way through you. So, if you want to be an energy healer, if you want to be a Reiki teacher, if you want to be a coach in service to others, if you want to bring meaning into your life, how do you do that when you've got bills to pay and, you've got to manage a lifestyle with children? Or how do you create the right environment or how do you create the possibility for yourself to allow whatever divinely is working its way through you? How do you create more space for that to come? That's my job. So my job is, I work with a cognitive process, and the cognitive process has 5 different steps. So the first level is self-confidence. And self-confidence is all built on your belief structures about who you are, and lack of self-confidence or the awareness of who you are not. So I'm good at this, I'm not good at this. I feel instinctively good at this, I'm not instinctively good at this. I feel this is who I am when I'm being really authentic, this is who I'm not being when I'm really authentic. So what we focus on initially is we're creating the mindset and the behaviors so that who you fundamentally, authentically are can work its way through your physical vessel and be present here on this earth, doing the work that the divine has designed you to do. So number one, you've got to own it. You've got to, so you cannot be someone else. So you can't compare yourself to someone else. You can't try and be faster than someone else. You can't go faster than the level you're at. Yeah. So it's complete self-acceptance. It's self-kindness. It's self-love. It's self-nurturing, you know, at this fundamental level, and really just saying, this is who you are. I accept you. I am not going to punish you. I'm not going to criticize you. I'm going to treat you. So with the way I do it with Dawn Breslin is, I'm going to treat her as if, in my consciousness, I'm going to treat her as if she's a small child, and I am going to parent her with so much love to give her every opportunity that she would like to take. I'm going to allow her to fail in, you know, take chances and take risks. And sometimes they're going to work out and sometimes they're not going to work out. And I'm going to make that okay for her. So number one is creating the mindset to allow you to be yourself and to stop looking at everyone else, whether you see them as above you or, you know, slightly more advanced than you. Just be where you are. Let's begin there. And the other thing at that fundamental level as well is creating a level of safety in your life. So making sure that you've got enough money, making sure that you've got enough food. So it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Fundamentally, it's just getting you comfortable in your own skin and securing you in this life, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, if you are carrying a gift and you take that gift into an environment, whether it be into your family environment, your friend's environment, and they start to question what you're doing and tell you that they think you're a bit crazy. You know, they think, what's she up to? This is not good. You know, this doesn't fit. And in the spiritual circles, this is a big one. Yeah, it's kind of like, normal. Yeah, you've got all this stuff going on inside you, and they're going, that's not my experience, so you're crazy. Yeah. So we've got to be very careful of our gifts because we need to protect them, which means we need to make sure that we're sharing them with the right people and we're not sharing them with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. So sometimes this means adjusting. You know, if you're married to someone and they fundamentally disagree with your core values about who you are and what you're doing, that's tricky. Yeah. Because how are you going to fully express yourself in this life? Because I can guarantee you, if you're just coming out, the fullest expression of you is going to be much bigger than the one that you're experiencing right now. So we've got to make sure that the partnerships, the relationships, the friendships, even in family, it might be that we don't want to tell too many people about what we're doing because they might just put us down. And it's like they throw toxins on, you know, something. It's like you know, at level one, you're like a seedling and all the potential is there within the seed. At level two, the seed is starting to grow. You cannot grow a seed if it is planted in toxic soil. Yeah. So there's the toxic soil of the people around you. There's also the toxic soil of your own thoughts. If you keep telling yourself, no, this can't be happening, this can't be me, I don't trust myself, you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. No. So harmonizing my processes is a bit like growing a plant. It's a growth process, a preparation for growth to allow that which is contained within you at a cellular level to take expression in life. So in a plant, that's the seed level. Number two is looking at the environment that the seed grows in. So for you to become resilient and strong, you cannot keep sharing where you're going to be put back in your box. You've got to be so careful. So what we do is we then set up the environment of someone's life and their mindset. I help them work on their mindset to create this really potent and powerful mindset that allows them to blossom. Number three, the step is all about self-care, but it's kind of very fierce self-care. So it's self-care when we've worked on self-love and really recognizing your potential, recognizing who you are. Number three is we've got to keep you strong. So it's like, you know, if you have a plant and you don't water it and you don't let it rest and sleep overnight, if you don't give it the conditions in which it will energetically thrive, it will not grow. No. So as human beings, energy is so important for our growth. But so many of us have this guilt around energy. We've got guilt around taking time off, resting, recuperating. We get anxious about going slowly, so we want to do everything really, really quickly. And there's no trusting in the growth process. There's no divine trust when you're pushing. So the third step in my process is about helping people balance their energy so that they've got abundant energy. And through that abundant energy, whatever it is that is growing through them, they have the energy to nurture it, to grow it. You know, when you have energy, you're in touch with your intuition, you're in touch with the deeper aspects of yourself. If you're running on depleted, you cannot be in touch with the fullness of your gifts. So the human system has got to be balanced. The fourth step is we work with deep authenticity to grow the living organism, to grow the human, to grow the human potential. And this is where we start to look at, instead of setting goals, we look at what your needs are. So every 3 months, we look at, you know, what is it you really feel you need in your life right now? So you might feel like, you know, I feel like one of the words might be, I might be dynamic. I might feel excited. I might feel I want to be abundant. I might feel I want to be seen. I might feel right, so let's take those words. And what we would do is we take these words that the soul really needs right now, is drawn to at this point in time. And we would set little goals in our lives so that we could experience more of these feelings each and every day. So instead of a long-term goal, because ultimately we don't know what we're capable of, we don't know what our full potential is, but instead of having a long-term goal, we work with the feelings and the emotions to guide us to our next position. And you might find that someone who is working on being seen, being abundant, being energized, in 3 months' time, they might feel quite tired. And it might be that the 4 words that we use in the next quarter might be calm, peace, introspective, creative. So they then go into a different energy of creating or growing for another 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months again, we ask them, what do you feel? What do you need again? And they readjust the course of their life based on their authentic thoughts, feelings, and needs. So instead of someone saying, you know, I really want to achieve a 7-figure salary, I want to be on stage, I want to do all these things, which might take a tremendous amount of energy and quite frankly might burn people out in the process because they're not going through the natural growth process. What we're doing is we're connecting people really authentically with, just like a tree or a flower, a plant or a baby animal, we're working with it on an emotional and energetic level to make sure that the steps of growth really are in alignment with where you are energetically, emotionally, and intuitively in this moment. And then the final stage of our process is about flow. And it's where you start to get into this system of managing your cognitive processes and your behaviors. And you're aligning with spirit, you're aligning with universe. And the final stage is to move you into flow, where the universe will work back with you. It'll be working with you on each of these steps along the way. But when you get into flow, the universe is actually guiding you. It's moving you. You don't need to do all the work. You've done the alignment and it will guide you through. But if you've not done the alignment and you are struggling with self-love, self-acceptance, self-kindness, you're struggling with energy, you're struggling with boundaries, all of that, then your growth is just going to take a long time. So I've watched people, you know, come through my programs and, you know, they've been really dynamic individuals. And at the end of the program, they've gone, I'm going to take 3 months off. I'm going to recalibrate my system before I get going again. So that's what I'm teaching now. It's very much about creating the conditions to thrive, I guess. Really creating the environment in which you can grow. And with work like the work you're doing with the ladies in the group that you're in, they'll need these structures in place to hold the type of work that you do. Because I would imagine if you're exhausted, you're tired, you're self-deprecating, you're not trusting in a universal flow, or not trusting yourself, it's really difficult to do the work.
This is what I say all the time. Because people, when as they know that I can channel, they think that it's just, okay, I need to learn how to do it and that's it. No, that you get fluency because you grow your confidence, you work on your self-love, you say, yes, I can do this. And apart from that, you need to get rid of all those layers you were talking about, because this is the reason why I started the group of Raising the Consciousness, which is not meditation, and it's not reading about consciousness. It's working on yourself. It's working on deprogramming your mind. It's about detaching from the ego, detaching from everything that you are unsafely attached. People, for example, or that there are a lot of people that they feel that their happiness depends on others. On, I need a partner so I will be happy. I need a family so I will be happy. I need a better car or a new car so I will be happy. And when you realize that you are enough and you can feel complete only with yourself, then you are ready to be open to receive, to channel, but it's a step by step. It's really amazing, this program that you are saying, because it's very organic. You are starting from the bottom and say, okay, this is where we need to start from. Yeah. And when I talk about, there's some people that they don't like to talk about pain or what it hurts, but this is what we need to work on.
And otherwise, energy is blocked. Stuff is blocked. And I would imagine if you're doing energetic work and your energy is blocked,
so it's not going to work. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
When the neurodecoding sessions are quite powerful, and I ask people to express their pain. So I had clients that they are open to do it, and some of them they say, no, I don't want to talk about this. And I say that you have a block. And for example, you can find a partner, but you need to heal the relationship with your dad, because you are just projecting your dad in the new partner you're looking for. You need to, it's not that nobody wants you or nobody wants to be in a relationship with you. It's that you are not attracting the right person because you are projecting this relationship in all the men that you meet. And this is part of raising the consciousness. It's healing the relationship with our parents. It's healing the relationship. Sometimes even in relationship, in marriages, they have conflicts, and all that is happening is that, for example, the woman is just projecting a relationship from that she had with her dad, and he's projecting the relationship with her mom, and they are just seeing in the partner the mom of the dad. And if you can heal your relationship with your partner if you heal the one that you have with your mom. And this is also, and when I talk about this, people say this is not raising the consciousness. Yes, it is, because you're getting rid of the blockages. You're getting rid of energy that is repressed, and you need to get rid of all that to be open and to accept life. So yeah, it's difficult sometimes to explain.
But I think as well, in the messiness of I remember doing work in particular about my own dad, who I had a difficult relationship with. And I remember crying, and it was really, really difficult. But I really, really, really disliked him because he was very controlling in my teens. And I remember doing the clearing work. And now when I speak about my dad, I know that my dad was the perfect dad for me. I know that on a spiritual level, the way he trained me has set me up for all of my life. So I think as much as the work is messy and difficult, it can also be euphoric, doing clearing, and in some ways it was, for me, it was quite addictive, clearing everything out. It's like, what else is there? What else is there? Let's clear.
Yeah, take it out.
And when you were talking about, I need a partner, I need a house, I need a whatever to be happy, I remember just, this was enough. It was so exciting, getting to know who I really was, beyond these wounds, beyond this pain. And, the journey goes on for me. I could still go off on courses and still be learning. And really, if you look at the dysfunction in your life, the things that aren't working, they're going to point back to the stuff that is still needing resolved in your life. It's a simple formula. Well, there's kind of, I don't know if you agree, there's maybe two formulas. I think on one level, there is, if things aren't working for you, the chances are that, you have some kind of blockage, or, you need to make some kind of adjustment to your perception, to your mindset. On another level, I think there are destiny lines of things that, we're supposed to experience, and there's difficulty we're supposed to go through that is part of our soul growth. I don't know, would you agree with that? Would you
I agree. I totally agree. So, well, I could be talking to you for hours.
We could
talk by phone for an hour and a half some days ago. So it's so beautiful. And is there anything else that you'd like to share? Or I know that you have a newsletter that people can receive.
If anyone's interested, I do have a newsletter. So at dawnbreslin.com, you can sign up and you can find out. We do an online course. I have audio CDs, and they're not expensive. Well, I have one in particular I'm thinking about. It's something like £10, and it really helps people realign their thinking. So it's an inexpensive way to do that. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you get access to that sort of
everything.
I have groups on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. So if anyone's interested in finding out, we call it the harmonizing alignment process, so if anyone's interested in that, you can find out about it over on my site.
Anyway, everything you shared today with us, it was really amazing. And
thank you.
I have this feeling that every time that I listen to you, it's just, I resonate with everything. Oh gosh,
I feel the same way. I think there's a lot. I've just recently found your group, and I'm really excited about doing it. I sense your wisdom and your depth of awareness, and I'm excited to do some of your chakra meditations. And I saw yesterday you had a past life regression meditation, and there's something so honest and authentic about your presentation and the way that you're running things that I really, really, really value.
Thank you. Oh, what an honor.
I do. So I'll be in your little group snooping around.
Yeah. Okay, done. So thanks very much. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And I just hope that you enjoy the rest of the day in the sun, because it's an amazing day.
It's lovely. My eyes keep going over this way, because outside I have the ocean. I've got the sea here, and I just keep seeing the sunlight sparkling on the sea outside. So after this call, that's exactly what
you're going to do. Okay. So all your details are going to be down the video with your social media links and the website and everything. Okay. Thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor for me.
Thank you. And good luck with everything that you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful work you're doing in the world.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.